Welcome to Other Realm Studio. I'm Paula, and I'm like a couple minutes late. It's not bad. Let's see. There it is. It's Monday! Aren't Mondays awesome? Yeah, don't answer that. So, I've I was about to say I've lost my stylus, but no, I have not. I actually have it here. I just need to finish getting set up. And this time I actually planned a little bit about what I want to do. So let's just start up a new file. I need to do some more sketches for this commission I'm working on. And let me see. I'm just going to work on some shapes and see when I get around to the angle that I want to get. So one of the things, let's see, that's not quite where I wanted that. Let me scoot that up. No, not that one. I started following Tom Bancroft uh, fairly recently on Instagram, and he's I think he was the chief animator for Mushu from Mulan, and he was saying that a lot of young artists he sees now, a lot of students, a lot of people who would really like to learn to draw better, they seem to have lost the idea of sketching. They're trying to draw with hard outer lines, yeah, outside line art, without exploring the shape first, which I thought was quite interesting. Because, you know, that does lead usually to pretty stiff forms because you're so preoccupied with, getting it right instead of exploring where the shape's going to take you. Let's see. I'm actually going like 2 or 3 directions at once on this, and that's probably not what I need to be doing. Let's try this one instead. All right, where does that one start? Come on. It starts here, but it's behind all these other fingers. So this would be the first knuckle, not any of these over here. Neaten that up just a tad there. And all right, so I actually had an idea of what I was going to draw today and an idea of what I was going to talk about today. So, yeah, the real problem is remembering how to talk while I'm doing something like hands. Hands are just complex like that. Let me see. Let's do this. Okay, so I want a nice gesture coming from this hand. And this is going to be a very old hand, so I'm not worried about putting too many lines on it at this stage. Alright, maybe lean this back a little bit more. It's going to be interesting. And I'll be able to put a lot of textured stuff in the background too. That's going to be fun. And I will need to mind my foreshortening for the body here. Yeah, I don't think that this shoulder's going to be up so high. All right, so my topic today, why would you be an artist? And the answer has to do with love and purpose. Now, a lot of the time, I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the whole art thing. It's difficult. It's difficult for other people to find value in what you do sometimes. But, that was last week's topic. And this week's topic is why would you be an artist in spite of the way other people feel about you trying to be an artist, about you trying to create in an uncertain and frequently undervalued world. And there are hard things that you have to ask yourself about it. At first when you're a kid, you have such a great time, with your crayons and markers and stickers and everything that you have at hand that you're using to create whatever you can to the best of your ability to work on what's in your imagination. I mean, you just have kind of cruddy kid tools. Um, Cheap plastic paintbrushes that don't hold paint. And uh, gritty watercolors that turn to mud as soon as you use them. Here's a good one. Off-brand crayons that are like 90% wax. And so everything that you draw turns out uh, so much more pale than when you get the good crayons that have a lot more pigment in them. And, sometimes you even, all you have to draw on is like notebook paper. And so you've made all these comics and illustrations and drawings of your own characters and cartoon characters that you love that are all on this blue lined paper. You filled up both sides of it because you're just a kid. And, nobody's buying you fancy art supplies. And so when you finally get like good art supplies, you kind of panic and you're not really sure if you're supposed to use them. Or at least that's how it was for me. You start hoarding your good art supplies for when you have something better to draw. Something worthy of your nice stuff. And that's when your art starts stiffening up and you think that in order to deserve your nice supplies, you need to draw something that's as good as the commercial art that you see that you've been trying to copy all this time. It was very liberating during my brief stint in art class in college to have good supplies that were brand new that I essentially practiced on. It was nice. That was a valuable experience. See, that was one of the things. This question comes up and goes around every now and then. What would you tell your younger self? And I'm like, I don't know. There's some stuff that if I explained it to my younger self, she'd run screaming. And I don't know if I ought to get rid of some of these experiences. I mean, yeah, I promise I'm going somewhere with this. It does have to do with why would you be an artist? Well, why would I relive, if I had to, my college experience that, did not actually turn out great for me? It's how things had to be. It's part of what made me who I am. You don't get rid of that lightly. All right, let's see. So my mic might be picking up a little bit from the other room, which I thought I had shut that door, but somebody's already opened it. Let me see. Let me see if I can remember how to draw hooded eyes. Good gracious. It's difficult. Oh yeah, and at this angle too. Good gracious, what have I decided to do to myself here? Oh, there goes autosave. So, mixed as your results may be with art, you create it because you have to. It's in you. It's part of communicating. And every time you quit, because I seriously don't think that there's an artist who's achieved much age, There's not many artists, I don't believe, that have been in this game for a while. Let me go back to the lighter blue for this shape. Who have not quit several times. Let's see, as you age, your nose is just not going to hold that definition that it used to. It's not going to be that bulbous in the final thing, but I need to build up some shape for it. Yeah, if you've been an artist for any length of time, you've also quit. And at least attempted. You've tried. You've tried to see what it's like to not be an artist. And not to get weird here, but it's like cutting out your own tongue. You create because it's a way to communicate. And we're social creatures and we have to communicate in order to survive. And if we're not communicating, then we're not surviving very well. And I've quit several times. And it's painful. And I'd rather not quit anymore. Even though I keep trying to communicate through my work, and it's been not exactly easy finding people who want to hear what I say through it. Eventually, I will find the people who who want to see what I create. Let's see. Still, I have something going on with my angles here, or my foreshortening. I need to work on it. Let's see. I do want to use a lot of curved lines for this piece, and possibly some calligraphy. I don't know if I can use the calligraphy pen here. I'm still not quite used to all the tools that Clip Studio Paint gives me, but I'm getting there. I will figure it out eventually. Okay, I'm going to try and build up some depth to this bit. And let's see, I think she'd have a pillow here. It's hard to say exactly what angle the pillow should be at. Okay, I need to break this down here a little further in the piece and suggest more foreshortening through this sleeve. Oh, that was a little too much. So, for me, the reason why I choose to be an artist is because it is what I love to do, and it's how I can express love for people in my life, for the stories in my mind. And man, this is a little bit thinned out here, and it shouldn't be. And I can't stop being an artist, even though I'm also a writer. And I suppose I could communicate that way. I'm still looking for more. I'm still looking for more ways to communicate and to tell my stories, because not everybody processes information the same way. Not everybody is able to read well or okay, hang on. I think I might have this off just a tad here. I'm not using reference, so I'm not surprised. Especially on something like a hand. Good gracious. So yeah, not everybody. Oh hey, on Twitch TV Party Press. Thank you. That's good to hear. Thank you for stopping by. Um, yeah. So not everybody produce or yeah, not everybody. Oh gracious, I had the perfect word and it's gone. Processes. Not everybody processes information in the same way, and some people have a lot of difficulty with the written word, and some people have a lot of difficulty with even art, even though it's generally a more accessible form of communication. And some people are really only good at auditory processing. Um, or if they have vision issues, that might be all they've got to go on. So, one of the things that I want to do with my art is to communicate in as many different media as I can. I would like to learn, well, I'd like to learn a lot. I want to learn how to be a better artist, um, and tell stories through my art, like sequential art. It's very difficult. There's so much to consider, and it's still not coming naturally, even though I'm working on it and I'm observing and trying to pay a lot of attention to what makes good sequential art in comics. And I also want to learn how to animate. Animation would be excellent to learn. If I could get my stories in an animated series, that would be awesome, because that's a way that a lot of people are very familiar with communicating, or with hearing and seeing a story. It's much more accessible. Yeah, Me, I got very good at reading novels, and I get like the whole movie in my head, and it's always much better than whenever Hollywood comes out with a movie. Uh, I don't even know what they're thinking. Yeah, like most of the time. Oh yes, I'm in South Carolina. Let's see, get that in there. Yeah, I love South Carolina. It's been several years since I've been to Texas though. Uh, I didn't really get to experience any of the pretty areas of it though. Oh yeah, right now we're kind of waging a battle against sweet gum trees. Oh gracious. There's one trying to spring up under the chimney again. But we have a lot of really nice trees in our yard. There's let's see, there's mature beech trees and tulip poplars and not so many pines, which is good, and at least three varieties of oak. I'm not sure which all are which. I mean, I know there's water oak, and probably there's like white oak and whatever else there is. But yeah, I like the trees and the pastures. Not so thrilled about the roosters, but living in the country's nice. Oh yeah, got a few cedars around here too. Yeah, these roosters were not meant to exist, but my neighbors have chickens, and uh, some of them managed to hide for a sufficiently long time that they had unauthorized chickies, and then they couldn't catch the male ones. It's been a very busy year. Okay, just sketch this in just a little bit more. I need to look up what lilacs look like. I mean, I kind of know, but if I start doing that without reference, I'm gonna mess it up. Nothing tastes so good as silent rooster stew. Okay, let me scoot in on this a little. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the company. Yeah, so I can't stay too much longer either. And I need to. Well, I don't really have a definite answer to the question that I started out this stream with, which is why would you want to be an artist? Well, it's not really a question of whether you want to be or not. You just are. And you might forget it for a little while. You might give up on it for a little while. But you can't not, because that's not being who you are. And it's kind of sad because I think that most kids start out as artists, but they get hung up in the rules and in trying to make things perfect. And so if you want to be an artist, don't worry about it. Just be. Practice and work on improving your technique. But don't ever think that somehow you're not worthy of calling yourself an artist, or that you're somehow wasting your good materials. I finally, when I finally bought good brushes, I mean, it was incredible. The difference. I mean, the brushes don't make the artist, or none of the tools do. It's what you see in your mind and what you're able to recreate from your mind. That makes you an artist. But don't feel bad about using the tools. You don't have to have them, but at the same time, if you're out there creating, you deserve to feel good about what you're creating. You deserve to create it to the best of your ability, without holding back, without feeling bad about it or guilty. Because because definitely there are more practical things to be. and try and do, but maybe you're just not that practical. Maybe your world doesn't have as much to do with the tangible things of everyday life. Maybe you're meant to communicate more of what's on the inside, to bring us closer to that space between the objective and the subjective. To communicate the things that can't be said and they can't be felt, not with your hands, but can only be communicated through an experience. And you could be the one to bring an experience to someone. You could bring somebody a story who can't experience it in any other way. That's as good a reason as any to be an artist. So never apologize for trying to communicate. Even if other people don't understand it, someone will. And just because the first person who sees what you're using to communicate just because they may not understand it in the media that you're using doesn't mean that your media and what you want to do is invalid. It just means that you haven't found the person who needs to see it. I haven't left myself enough room. And I keep wanting to go in again with that. Wobbly. Still wobbly. missed. So anyway, that's just my thoughts. You want to be an artist because you want to communicate. And just calling somebody up and having a chat is not enough. And it doesn't have to be. Alright, that's going to be all for tonight. And I'm going to save this one. Let's not go to this one. I needed it to go in that one. Oh, right. I need to save a copy as a JPEG. So, if you would like to know more about my art and what I'm up to, I have a comic about a pragmatic med student named Becca who falls through a portal to another world of magic, myth, monsters, and mayhem. And it's on Kindle. I also have print, but the print version is not on Amazon. But if you would like to read it on Amazon, I have the comic on Kindle. You can look it up. I can't copy and paste into my own chat. I don't understand. You can always look it up. It's called Soulbound, Issue 1, Adrift, and it's the beginning of an epic comic series. It's going to be an arc with 10 issues, and it's going to have a nice solid ending and not just limp along like a lot of these things that are a little bit unplanned. I have the whole thing outlined. And my website is otherrealmstudio.com, and you can order Soulbound issue 1 in print, and I've got copies right here, and I will mail them out to you. Shipping used to be my gig, so they will arrive in great condition. I know what I'm doing. It's not going to be this thing where they arrive, beat half to death by the post office. So that's my current project. I have lots of other things that I'm working on right now. I've got some editing to do on a novel. I'll be so excited to share that with you later. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it so much. And I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.